In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and broadcast over the Newbury Public Access Channel. The town of Newbury, in response to COVID-19 coronavirus, is currently following the guidance from the Newbury Health Agent, Massachusetts Department of Health, and the CDC regarding the virus and steps communities can take to prevent the spread. As such, all town facilities are currently closed to the public. In accordance with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general law, section 30A, paragraph 20, all public meetings are being conducted remotely and without public comment at the chair's discretion. This meeting will be broadcast live through local access on Zoom and can be found on the Newbury Access YouTube channel. Motion to open the meeting.
Make a motion to open the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, 4 votes. We're open. And I know that Marshall is out tonight, so we will do a roll call to establish quorum. So Linda Allen,
Present.
Joe Ali,
Present.
Jean Case,
Present.
Erica Jacobson, Tom Howard, not present. KVSR, not present. So we have 4. So our first order of business is to review and vote on the minutes of the 23rd March joint meeting with the select board. That was a simple email from Marshall. And Jean, I believe you replied to that, and then we addressed the comments in the March 30th meeting, which was also sent out to all members.
Right.
Yes.
So you want a motion on the meeting of the 23rd?
Yes, please.
So move.
Second.
Accept the minutes of the March 23rd meeting.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Awesome.
Right back.
I thought I was the only one that still had a landline.
I think we have one, but I don't think there's a phone hooked up to it.
All right. I'm always afraid it's going to be a service call that I have to take, but junk.
Excellent. And then also, so do we want to look at the minutes for the meeting of March 30th? Were there any edits or comments on that?
Good.
So I want to make a motion to approve this one.
I'll make a motion. Oh, go ahead, Jean.
Move.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Record show 4, all yes to approve the minutes. Excellent. Tracy, no financial statements or administrator's report or anything you want to brief us on things that we should know
I mean,
about?
it's been all budget all the time. Obviously, this is when once I hand it off to you guys, I can breathe a sigh of relief. Today, there was a meeting earlier. The Council on Aging Expansion Committee is exploring possibilities of a new facility. We were tasked to look at whether or not it could even, the feasibility of whether or not a combined facility could sit on the existing site of the town hall at 25 High Road. And the architect did provide some information to the expansion committee and the select board. So there'll be, certainly more discussions about that in the future. but just
Okay.
very, very preliminary concept work.
Okay. So we expect that that will be forthcoming in upcoming meetings,
Mhm.
further discussion and
Yeah.
impact. Excellent. Anything else for administrator? Questions?
Just anything, I know we don't have the reports. Nothing, no issues we should be concerned with.
No, we're obviously, in the COVID environment, we're monitoring our revenues very closely.
Yeah.
That was one of the fears that most of the communities have had, that we'd see a significant decline in our revenues. We're seeing a little bit in our motor vehicle excise, but curiously enough, it wasn't COVID related. It was actually related to some issues at the Registry of Motor Vehicle, in that they didn't get the commitments out timely. So although it's going to look a little bit different, because normally this is when the big commitment would go out, so you'd start seeing the money come in. It hasn't gone out yet. We do expect it before the end of the fiscal year, but it might look a little bit off to what we would normally see. Other than that, our property tax collections are right on target. So far so good. We've received over $100,000 in grant funding for COVID related expenditures. And obviously you're probably aware of the federal funding that's coming our way, and everyone's getting excited about the thought of us getting all of this money, but what we don't have is any guidance at all about what it can be used for. And if we don't have any revenue shortages, then we can't use it for revenue replacement. If we don't have any unreimbursed expenses, then we can't use it for reimbursing expenses. So
Right.
it's not like they just hand you the money and say, here you go. It's very closely tied generally. And again, we don't have any guidance yet, but generally it's very tightly regulated.
But I think that makes, I mean, to me, that makes sense.
Oh,
You know,
sure.
why, if there's a need, fine. If there isn't, Well, what about the grants, Tracy? How are those? Who handles the grants?
Those are administered by the town accountant. They're applied for by the Board of Health, myself. Yeah, we're all kind of
Okay.
fire department, police department, whoever, sees them, we're all applying for them. But again, we can only, expend what
Right.
we spend naturally. But it's unfortunate, because sometimes when you read the articles in the newspaper, it's like, oh, Newbury's getting 1.6 million, and everyone's like, great, we can put it to the town hall, or we can do this. But we can't. They're very restrictive. So
Yeah. Well, it should be.
yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
what is the school, Triton must get its own, right? I would think.
They would get theirs
Yes.
separate from us. I don't know what they've received, but it would be
Right.
separate from the town.
Yeah.
The earlier meetings, they were thinking that it was going to be double their last, which I want to say was 800. So that's where they were thinking it was like around somewhere $1.5 million. That's what they were thinking. But again, not knowing what the guidance would be around that when they get those monies. Again, having to be used in accordance with the directives to make up. But they have, in terms of the monies that Triton has expended out of, I guess, their ESSER 2, just saw the tents up at Triton High School, Middle School outside in preparation. The K-8s go back tomorrow, and the high school resumes full in person on Monday, the 12th.
Thank you.
Is there an update on the bathroom project here on the island?
The bathroom project right now is on hold. I don't know if you were aware, but the Byfield Grange building had one of the joists snap. which the DPW, because we're using our own workforce to do the work at the bathroom facility, we had hoped to save money by doing it that way, but it was made perfectly clear in all the conversations that it would likely take much longer if we did it that way, because they'd have to do it in between plowing and road paving. So they were all set to go and do that, but when the joist snapped, they were deployed over there, and they have been there since November, if I'm not mistaken. Linda, you would know better. Since November, it's quite a big job.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's been unbelievable. And you know what the worst part is? The furnace is gonna have to be replaced. I know. La, la, la. Oh my God.
Fundraiser.
I hate to tell you, I got just as a side note, I got the electric bill today, $350, because the furnace keeps running and running and running 24 hours a day. And it's old, and they can't fix it. I've talked to James about it. And those two guys that we have in the town, Brian, and I don't even know the other gentleman's name, they are unbelievably good.
Tim Tolman. Yeah, we've got a very talented DPW.
Nice.
in many ways.
But if you could see what they have been doing, it's unbelievable. When they're done, it's going to look like it was part of the original building.
Wow.
So when
Yeah.
they're done,
When they're done.
then they're heading over to the bathrooms.
Okay. Some
But they
of the
can't go in the
locals,
building, Joe.
right. Some of the locals were asking.
Yeah, it was, we had hoped to have it further along, but it wouldn't have been ready for the season anyway. So. Yeah, no, we're doing portable facilities, Memorial Day to Labor Day like we normally do.
Right.
Yep.
I
Letty-
did get one citizen's question this week on the warrant article, and I know that we'll end up talking about the online booklet, but in terms of the Newberry Elementary roof, they were asking if it was, and it doesn't seem like it would be, but it was asking if it was to do the repair. Is it this paying for the repairs that were done in the fall?
No.
And
the
that's,
amount-
I was like, that doesn't happen that way. So no, but
No, the
so-
amount appropriated in the fall covered, don't quote me on I want to say 30,000 square feet, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Okay,
That was for replacing the worst part of the roof. If
Okay.
anyone, I'll forward you the NEL report. I don't know if you were here when we distributed that last, Erica.
no,
And they're taking the phased approach. Initially, we were thinking, close to $2 million to do the whole roof, but they're doing a little bit at a time, and DPW is doing a lot of the work. So they took the worst part, I think it was 30,000 square feet, and all the insulation was wet. So that took them quite a while to do that, but that part's complete. And
Okay.
now they're moving on to the next phase. They expect it will take them, I think, about 5 years to complete the entire project.
okay,
And it has I said NEL report, and that's not right. That's not the name. That's Newbury L I'm thinking of. But in the report, it shows the phases and how much we can expect to spend.
okay, yeah, they asked about the mass school building fund, if that would get it done faster.
Oh, I'm sure it would, but we'd have to
But-
pass an override to.
We'd need an override to fund it, and if we can fund it out of already expected revenues.
That's a good question, Jean. Do you know if it's funded through local receipts, if we're eligible for any reimbursement?
I don't
I
know.
We might, I can certainly follow up with Brian about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
Brian would be the one.
Brian Forget.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, all right, just want to make sure I'm not missing a Brian, like Brian and DPW or something, but
yeah.
okay,
no.
I'll forward the question to you and
Sure.
to Brian, just that it's something came across to me earlier today. And I remember I was looking at their website and tried to make sense of whether or not it could be used for a project that wasn't a new build and how that would work, but I couldn't get quite to the bottom of it.
They actually, I mean, that is potential because they talked about, at least back when I was working with them, they wanted to be able to fund projects like replacements of boilers or replacements
Yeah.
of roofs or replaces. So that was always part of the new approach that they were taking to save the building instead of building a new one. kind of
Right.
Approach. So.
It was actually the IRC Roof Management Services report. So I'll get that off to you. Erin.
Okay. Any other questions for Tracy around like administrator report? Kind of section of business?
When do you anticipate going back in the building? September? Or public in the building, I should say.
Oh, I was going to say going back in what building? No, actually May.
Hey, oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh, that would be
That's-
wonderful.
That was the last report that the emergency management director made to the select board. We were hoping for sometime late May. And it was all subject to, numbers and
Right.
what it's
right.
looking at, but Newbury's remaining at relatively good colors, if you will. I think we're in the gray, so. that's
Knock
good.
on wood to say that.
Right. And we've had a very high number of our population vaccinated, which is wonderful. I don't know if any of you had the opportunity to go to the Amesbury site, the regional site that we've been running. It's very impressive. We've got more than 50 volunteers there at any given day.
Hmm.
wow.
And we,
Yeah.
every weekend, they've really, the health directors have done an amazing job. I can't give them enough credit for the work they've done.
I have a friend who's been volunteering over there, putting the shots in the arms because she's a surgeon. So that's been her Saturdays.
Great.
One of the advantages of age, I've had both.
Wonderful.
That's good. And more, everybody getting there. So
Yes.
that's going to be great. Because I've missed the last couple of years, for prep for town meeting, do we still do the booklet? Do we do it online version? How should we be proceeding with that? Where do you need a hand or
Yep.
action from us?
We do. Most everything is the same as we did it before you
Okay.
left. We've made some modifications due to COVID. We're trying not to hand things out at town meeting if we don't have to. We're making it available online. If anyone needs us to print them, a physical copy, now that it's available, once it's available, it will be, you can go to the library and ask them to print you out a hard copy. You can go to
Okay.
the police station, the fire station, the town hall, if people don't have, a printer or anything, but we will bring some to town hall, but we want to, to the,
Town meeting.
to the town meeting, but we want to try to eliminate as much passing of paper and pens and those types of things as we possibly can. We did have actually a very successful town meeting last June in the height of COVID. So we actually even received some compliments. It was amazing. People felt very comfortable. The people that did come out felt
Okay.
comfortable with the spacing and the measures that were put in place to ensure everyone was protected. And we're going to use the same model that we did for the annual town meeting last June. So, and I think at this point, people are starting to feel a little bit more comfortable being vaccinated and all. So
Excellent. And do you need anything from us to review the booklet or help draft it? Where do you need anything?
Absolutely. I usually pass it off. I take a first pass and then I usually give it to Marshall or
Okay,
whoever the chairman is, and they do whatever you guys do. Kind of checking and double checking, make sure everything looks good. The one thing the FinCom hasn't done in the last couple of years, and I don't know if you want to resume or if you want to keep it the way it is. Usually there was I don't know if you remember, Frank used to draft a cover letter,
yep,
that we put in the very beginning. We've gotten away from that, but if anyone wants to take that on, I think it's nice for the residents to hear from the
okay.
Finance Committee. We've had
Okay.
some changes in membership since then, and probably.
Excellent. Okay,
Like
we
you
can take
said,
that.
Jean, even kind of reminding them of the role of the Finance Committee and what you guys are here to do.
That's, I like kind of leading with that as kind of
Yeah.
what our role is within the town and what matters we weigh in on. Just to,
We did that almost every year.
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
I
you used to help me do it.
think I have some old drafts.
All you gotta do is reword it for another year.
Yeah, so, okay,
Up to
we'll
you.
take that. I'll definitely take a look at that. And is there anything, any preparation at town meeting or any presentations, or are we keeping it much shorter? I know last year, I was unable to attend last year.
Like last year, I think we want to try and streamline it as much as possible.
So,
We did talk to the moderator. I think there may be a couple of presentations, but they'll be
Okay.
brief. The expectation is the Finance Committee would do their brief presentation. Marshall usually talks a little bit. And I think Bob Connors had suggested kind of making a wrap up on the police station. And now I've lost her name. We're talking, Alicia was at the last select board meeting, there was a presentation about doing a Newbury Day celebration. I don't know if you guys heard that, but so that might be brought into and again, just briefly updating people on that. Robin Lawson.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I know that there was money in a Warren article about
Yes.
a Newbury Day celebration,
Yes,
so,
exactly.
okay. Okay,
So whether she does it at the beginning or waits until the article, I'm not sure. The moderator will dictate all that.
okay. So based on that, do we think that for us to be able to review and approve, I'm sorry if I look like I'm staring off into space, but there's a calendar on that wall, which I run my life by. So I'm like looking at it. Does it make sense for us to post a meeting for the 13th to review that booklet, or so that we're not in any violation of open meeting, or is it something we can do if only a couple of us are looking at it?
However you want to do it. Yep, the 13th should give us plenty of time to get it to you, so you'll have an opportunity to look at it. Trying to think, I'm just looking for printing availability. Yeah, that should be fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Because I think that, yeah, I could think that that a week from now would give us with the sole purpose of the agenda would pretty much be
Review.
reviewing of that and any discussion of a presentation, anything Marshall wants from us, or that we can help Marshall in creating for that evening. And then we'd be good until we typically have had a meeting posted for the same night as town meeting, usually a half hour before, just to give us the opportunity to talk
If anything
without
comes up.
being in any violations.
When is town meeting? 27th, right?
27th, 7 PM at the high school. So we'd
Right.
probably call one for 6:30.
Right. 13th.
13th and
27th. Okay.
Damn, I actually have to dress up and like be out in public.
Have to dress up. Can I wear my jeans? Come on.
Jeans at this point are dressing up to me.
Oh,
No pajamas at town meeting.
No, who was it? There was a Bernie who he hated my boots. He didn't like when I walked on the floor in the gym. They were loud. I got that feedback once.
Oh my God.
Goodness.
You're being a lady.
oh well. Moving right along. No comment, right, Joe?
Right.
It's like,
I'm not saying anything.
Well done, gentlemen, well done.
This is being recorded.
Okay. Let's see here. I've got my notes in here. Any other new business items to consider? Questions? Do we have anyone at the end of this term needs to be up for reappointment or anything like that that's should be on people's?
I don't.
There's got to be some.
It's got it, yeah. Tracy will remember.
I forget. You know what? I've looked at it and I don't even think about it.
Was Tommy a 3-year or was he a fill-in?
Good question.
And
don't
Joe,
remember.
for that matter, I don't know. I can't remember.
6/30/21 expirations are Katie Asair and Joseph Ali.
Okay.
Oh, retirement.
No way.
To retire again and again and again.
You're just getting warmed up,
I
Joe.
was gonna say I've already rebounded once, so
Again and again and again.
Yeah, ask Erica about that.
You know, I was thinking when I first went on the finance committee was in the 80s.
My God.
Really?
It was in the 80s.
Oh
I think
my
1984 or 1985. I'm not sure.
Wow.
oh my gosh.
Because I had been on Triton for 9 years prior to that.
Wow.
Yeah, back in the day when a week before town meeting, we had an envelope and we were trying to figure out what the budget was. back then. Not quite that bad, but it was.
You and you and Frank. I made the mistake of showing up at a meeting and asking a lot of questions, and then like, hey, would you like to have coffee?
Yeah. Way back, it was, well, I can't even remember who was. I do remember, but it was a lot of people over the years. Actually, the guy who wrote most of the town meeting article was on the finance committee, Kevin Blanchett. He wrote most of the town administrator legal piece because he was the legislator.
Oh, no kidding.
Kevin Blanchett, yeah, Kevin did that. He wrote most of that. Yeah.
Wow.
So anyway, that's a little my.
That's good.
We need an adjournment.
Adjournment, yes. Motion. Motion to adjourn.
I will move to adjourn.
I will
That was so
second.
much fun, though, you know.
I know. All in favor?
I
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Excellent. Thank
Nice
you
to see you
all.
all.
I know.
you
I'm glad
guys.
I'm getting to stay in town. I was worried about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
Us too.
Thanks, Erica.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Erica.